Hey gang, it's Kara, and we're going to talk about the Django study that I taught at a recent workshop for Quarantine Festival. I'm going to probably teach this same song for the folks down in Ohio Valley Gathering. And I'll probably go ahead and in 24, I'll be teaching this workshop a few times. So let's get a video made for it, okay? Dobie Joe, you want to come back up? Come on back up! Come on back up and say hi! Alright, let's start this nice and slow. You gotta watch your timing on line 1 because the first measure is 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay? When you get to the third measure of line 1, that eighth note pair happens in the second beat. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay? Alright. I'm gonna take this real slow. Let's go ahead and use the metronome on it. There we go. I got that metronome set on. What do we got it set on there, Dobie Joe? It is set on 88. 1 and 2. Here we go. 3, 4. 1 and 2. 3, 4. 1 and 2. 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3. 4. 1, 2 and 3. There's no more up there. There's no more up there, girl. She thinks there's snacks on the music stand. There usually are. I'll do this again for you. One, 2, and 3, 4. Adding an extra strum there to the end. You're an ornery girl today. Okay, let's do that a little bit faster without the interruption of the dog. Now this time we're going to do a little bit faster. We're going to take it up to about, let's take it up to about 112. And we're going to put a little swing feel into it, okay? Here we go. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Missed that note. And an extra. There we go. All right, so let's break some of these down. The first time that we have any what I call diddly bops, 16th notes or triplets, there's a difference between the two, but sometimes it's pretty subtle. Line 3, the last measure of line 3, you're going to go 5, but notice how I've already got my 4 lined up here. So 5, 4, hammer, pull off. Okay, so once again, my 5 and my 4 are both down. I pick my 4, hammer 5, pull off that 5, exposing the 4 again. So real slow. I made a slide down to that 3. Don't do that. That's too hard. Okay, now you're in perfect position for line 4 because I've got my middle finger on the 2nd fret. I'm going to put my index on that 3. Okay, so you're perfectly lined up for exactly the same move on the 2nd and the 3rd measure, or the 2nd and the 3rd fret. So if I start line 3, the last measure of line 3, I probably didn't slide when I performed it the last time, but on this next measure, we're going to slide up to that 7. Okay? Now when you do a slide, you got to be careful because you need enough force to keep that vibration of that note going up the frets. But if you have too much pressure, it's going to be hard to slide. So slides are tricky things. Experiment with the pressure that you put on that, okay? When I get to that 7, I imagine a sudden brake being put on so that I don't go over the 7. I don't always do that, but if I want to do it right, I'm going to imagine that brake going like that on that 7. Okay, then middle ring pinky on those 8s, okay? Because that's the easiest way for me to get to it. And then I just take those 3 fingers up. Okay, my thumb and my pointer finger do the rest of that movement. Everything's locked on the 9s now. Thumb, index, and then I take the whole shape down to get that 8. All right, I don't bother lifting anything up from those 9s and replacing the 8. I'm just going to take that whole shape down to grab the 8, and then I'm home free because I get an open string. I often do arrangements where if I'm up in here and I want to get down here, I'll give myself an open note somewhere to give myself time, boom, to get down. So that whole, starting with the 9s, that 9 business, let's see if I can find it on my music here. Okay, all right. The second B part, we've got an E minor that starts that out. Thumb right there, it's kind of a weird move. My pinky. My pinky is going to go from my 3 to my 4. My thumb's going to grab that 5. And then all bets are off because I got to go. Okay, now here's my favorite part of the whole song, the first ending. We're going to make an audible slide between those, but we're not going to treat it like a typical slide. We're going to pick when we get to our destination point. Okay, so the act of going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 to 5 to 7, I'm acting as if I always imagine that I've got a heavy weight on the back of my left hand here and it's pushing me down. I gotta go to those chord shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. The last 5, 5 I accomplish with my pinky here. But while I'm doing that, I'm keeping the weight down, almost like I'm trying to get to those and there's something holding my hand down. So it ends up sounding like this. Gives it a lot of sass right there. Okay, let's see if I can play this one more time for you. Up and around. That's about 132 beats per minute. That might be a little sloppy. I haven't warmed up at all this morning, but I wanted to get this done and out for you guys, especially my quarantine folks that just took the class last weekend. Okay, here we go, a little bit faster. We'll talk about the rhythm right after this. 1 and 2, 3, 4. right, let's talk about the chords on this. Now, I talked to you already in your workshop, if you've taken the workshop from me, about this little technique that I came up with. It's called, a lot of times I refer to it as a pinch slap, but sometimes you don't have to do the slap part just to achieve the nice rhythm. What I'm doing is on the 1 beat, I'm taking my middle finger and my thumb, and I'm pinching my outside strings, my Ds. And then on the 2 beat, with the back of my fingers, I'm popping across the strings like this. So it's like this. Okay? Now if you want to take that into a different level, you would actually apply a mute or a slap at the end of it. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm doing is as I'm strumming, I'm also letting my palm of my hand come down on those strings to mute them. I've got a 9-year-old student that makes this sound like you're floating on clouds when she does it. She does it much better than I do. Those little hands just poof right through that melody, or the rhythm. Okay, so let's go through this rhythm. Let's see, I don't have the sheet in front of me that told me, I think that all of my B minors I'm playing 2, 1, 0. You can play these chords in any position that you would like to play them. Another thing that I do that I don't know if I addressed in the workshops or not, but if you see me playing any closed chords, meaning a chord with, well, like my F sharp, a closed chord is a definition of a chord that's being played with no open strings, okay? Whenever I play a closed chord in this style, I have a tendency to bring this left hand up, okay, a little bit. So you can think of it 2 ways. When you want the chord to make a sound, you push down. Like that. Here's another way to think of it, but it's exactly the same thing. When you want the chord to stop ringing, you lift up on it. Now that might seem really funny to you, but I teach a lot of banjo and mandolin players how to play boom chop, boom chop, boom chops in bluegrass, and I can describe that one of the 2 ways I just described to you, and the light bulb will go on and they'll get it. The other way, it's totally won't make any sense whatsoever. So I always try to describe it 2 different ways, because one way will make sense and one way won't make sense to you, and it's always different from person to person. All right, let's go ahead and play this rhythm for you, okay? So you'll see me doing that muting technique up here, which is typical for banjos and mandolins when they're doing background, what we'll refer to as chops, boom chop, boom chop, boom chop, in bluegrass music. The interesting thing about the rhythm of bluegrass and the way that technique is played is very similar to the way that they did the gypsy swing style rhythm. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. B minor, E minor, whoops, F sharp minor, F sharp rather, B minor, F sharp, B minor, E minor, F sharp, B minor, F sharp, and B minor. Here's our B part. E minor, B minor, F sharp, B minor, E minor, B minor, F sharp, B minor. Like that. Another thing that I've been doing a lot when I'm jamming this with other people live is on that first ending, whoever's playing rhythm, I have them just go do like that first chord and hold it out through those 2 measures. Let me show you what I mean by that. If we start that B section with the E minor, so you get a really nice sound of those slides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and. Okay? All right, just for fun, I am going to grab, and I didn't bring it over here yet, so you'll see me awkwardly stand up and grab my guitar. I'm going to grab my guitar and give you some rhythm on it because it's really fun to play this study to a guitar. I'll be back in less than a second. Time me! Here we go. Let's tune this puppy up, making sure that everything is going to sound good when you practice your tablature melody over this guitar part. I did do a really nice video with a friend of mine playing guitar. I will try to get that loaded up where you can see it too. It's currently on my Facebook page, but you'll have to dig through a bunch of stuff to find it. So let's make it easier for you. And I'll see if I can't load that up on YouTube as well. Okay, so here's some rhythm for you to play this. Let's take it at about 132 again for you guys. It's gonna be about that fast. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I hope you have fun with that. Please ask me questions if you've got them. Hope to see you at a festival or another Quarantune festival, festival live, or a virtual festival for Quarantune, or maybe some of the other stuff. But anyway, if you've got a live event and you need an instructor come along, throw my name into the hat. I'd love to come and see you in person. Thanks so much. I'm glad you enjoyed this Django study. And like I said, ask me questions if you've got them on social media. I'm always here for you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.